Another Fiverr ad. 3, 2, 1, skip ad. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And from time to time, we might do a little rant here and there. And more often than not, sometimes when I do rants, it's about things like Fiverr and 99 designs and things like that. So yeah, this is another one of those. I have talked a little bit about this before. This one, I don't know if this one might go a little longer. So I've touched on this in other videos, just as an aside or whatever, but I wanted to go a little deeper on this one because, yes, I am talking about Fiverr again. I recently watched a video by a woman who it was kind of her experience with Fiverr, and her experience was not as an artist. I've talked about it, how it's bad for artists. In most cases, in many cases, in the majority of cases, it is bad for artists. Every once in a while, maybe somebody can make it work for them or whatever, but all in all, it's a pretty bad deal for artists. But I never, well, I have thought about this, but I've never really talked about how it's really not good for consumers either, for the people who go on Fiverr to purchase products, because there's a lot of things you got to really watch out for. But anyway, so this video was this lady who was hiring somebody on Fiverr. Well, a couple people, because the first one didn't work out. Imagine that. But for $5, if you're not familiar with what Fiverr is, it's basically where you can go on and for $5 you can have somebody do pretty much. Well, the theory is they can pretty much do anything for you, whether it's design a logo, design a there's probably somebody on there saying they'll do a comic book for $5, which is insane. Well, just anything is insane, but I'm not going to go too deep into that right now because anyway, and I guess there's other tiers. You don't necessarily have to charge $5, but that's what they bill it on, and that's what a lot of people on that website do. Is it just basically charge next to nothing, way less than minimum wage. And we can get into this. There's some other aspects as far as people that are in other countries where the dollar isn't as much over there, so maybe $5 to them is a lot, and so I can kind of see that. But all in all, I mean, it's problematic to say the least. But anyway, back to this video I was watching. And I'll go a little more into it in a minute. But it was just this woman's experience working with a designer, and the whole time I'm kind of watching this, I'm like, okay, yeah, you kind of get what you pay for. And she was kind of like that too. She was like, I realize this, I probably didn't go about this the right way or whatever. But it was just, and I'll have to leave a link because it's interesting to take a different perspective and see somebody who's actually going to purchase artwork and kind of the stuff they have to go through. But part of it's kind of like, yeah, well, you should have known better. I mean, but the other part was, it was really enlightening for me to see and kind of see what that process was, because I've never gone on there and hired anyone for Fiverr, and I've never done any work and put it on Fiverr or however that whole system works. But because just watching her go through it, I had a little different perspective, and it was kind of like, yeah, so just based on that, there's some things I want to talk about Fiverr, and it will probably get a little ranty because I am not, like I said, I'm not a big fan. And if you think you convince me otherwise, you can let me know in the comment section. But for now, I'm gonna do some artwork, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about Fiverr. So brace yourselves. Okay, so in this video, I just kind of want to go into what Fiverr is, why it's bad for creators, why it's bad for companies that are looking to hire creative services, and really the only one that Fiverr is good for is Fiverr, because they're making a mint. So what is Fiverr? Well, Fiverr is a website where you can buy or sell different services, mostly centered around design services, because I think for whatever reason, I think designers are the only one that's willing to give things away for practically free, and I don't really understand that. But anyway, so it's centered around the idea that you can have a project done for $5. Now, there's upselling and everything on there. People can charge more than $5, but the culture around it is pretty much, let's see how much of the bottom of the barrel we can scrape and how cheap things are, and that's a lot of their advertising and everything, and like I said, the culture around it perpetuates this idea of oh yeah, get something for dirt cheap and you know, pay $5 for somebody to spend what could be, you know, many hours on. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, so you think, oh, $5. Well, $5 is basically nothing for design services, but that's not the half of it. I mean, Fiverr, of course, takes their cut, which is substantial. It's about 20%, so that brings it down to about $4. Now, most of these transactions are happening via PayPal, so PayPal takes a cut, and of course, if you're legitimate, you're gonna be paying taxes on this, so that probably brings your total for around maybe $3.25, you know, and that's per project. That's not like hour. I mean, even as an hourly rate, it's like ridiculous. So, but you know, for whatever reason, there are people on there that are willing to practically give their stuff away and waste their time on this, and from both ends. I mean. And I think what really gets me, what really bothers me is Fiverr's advertising. Now, if you're an artist and you're on YouTube and you're looking at artist videos, I'm pretty sure you've probably come across Fiverr videos before because they're all over the place. But the way they advertise themselves is, I mean, you've seen them, the one where it's talking about, oh, would your little sister make that? Oh, that's cute. Go away, little girl, and all this. But the thing is, most of the artwork that you're going to get on Fiverr is something that you would equate to somebody's little sister designing. So they just portray themselves, and they've got these really polished videos. I mean, they spend a lot of money on their advertising and everything, and they make everything look so great and everything. It's essentially like McDonald's trying to convince people that they're like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse or something like that. It's just, you know, it's totally dishonest as far as the marketing and everything, and it's just ridiculous because they're trying to portray themselves as this you know, as giving like people the opportunity to have all this great design and everything, which a lot of it is just, a lot of it is garbage, frankly, to be honest. So case in point, I'm gonna link to the video that I mentioned in the beginning where this woman, it's kind of a cautionary tale about her experience with Fiverr, and she takes you through the whole process and she shows you the correspondence between her, and she doesn't give any names or anything, which is respectable, because I wouldn't do that either. But yeah, so it's just her trials and tribulations of trying to hire somebody through Fiverr, and you know, she kind of admits that maybe, you know, first of all, she was trying to hire somebody to do something that was copywritten. It was like a firefly kind of t-shirt design or whatever. So that's one thing. But anyway, and she even said, I guess. She said her husband had warned her that, you know, $5 for a logo, or even, I guess this first one she paid $25, which still is like, you know, I would not do a logo for $25. And I guess her husband was a designer and says that, yeah, that's ridiculous. But anyway, so she went through the process, and she found somebody, and there's plenty of people on there willing to do what was for $25 unlimited revisions, which, please, if you're a designer, never offer unlimited revisions especially for a set price, because I mean, that's a job that could go on forever. You could, if you say you're getting $25 and somebody decides they want to revise something over and over again for years, I mean, you're kind of stuck to that. I mean, that's ridiculous anyway. But so that's what she paid and everything, and then so she presents kind of what she wants. She lays it out, and it's a sort of a tattoo style design with a heart and kind of a scroll around the heart. Very typical, something that, you know, I saw the example, I'm like, yeah, I could whip that out, no problem. Been really easy, I would have nailed it on the first try. But, you know, she's dealing with people on Fiverr, so the first thing that comes back is this, nothing like what she kind of showed. It looked like clip art that they tried to squeeze some type, and the type, you know, it didn't wrap around, because they're trying to squeeze it into, you know, into the ribbon that wraps around this heart, and it looked nothing like it. The style looked very vector when the style she was showing looked more like a tattoo. I mean, it was just disastrous. So of course she went back and said, well, this isn't quite what I wanted, and they came back with another one that was even worse. And you could tell by the two different designs that they were done by different artists, because basically what a lot of the people on Fiverr are doing is they're just stealing artwork, and they're like, they'll do a Google image search or steal something for Shutterstock, or maybe if they're legitimate enough, maybe they have a Shutterstock account and they're manipulating that stuff. But most of this stuff is ripped off, and then they're just manipulating it and everything. So a lot of this stuff you can't even really use. But so she got the second one back, and she went through a number of different revisions, each one worse than the next one, and then finally after all this, she just said, well, I don't think you were on the same page and everything, and I guess she got her money back, which that kind of baffles me. But so it was a big waste of time for the quote designer who was doing this design, and also her time and everything. I guess she got her money back, but time is money as well. So I guess rather than her learning her lesson, she tried it again, tried to hire another person on Fiverr, and she got a design back which she said was better. I didn't really see that much difference. It looked pretty bad to me, but I don't know. So I guess she went with it. But the thing, like I said, this design was just as bad as the first one. And the thing is with design, the whole idea of design is to grab attention. And if you have horrible design, if she's planning on putting on a t-shirt, that's not going to sell. So why waste your time with that? If you're going to hire somebody to do artwork for you, let's say a logo, because a lot of these do revolve around logo design is one of the bigger services that you can hire somebody. When you're purchasing a logo, this is something that's going to be on your product or service. This is something that is going to be used probably in perpetuity forever. So why not invest, why not spend the extra money to invest in something that's worthwhile? And again, another big problem with Fiverr is a lot of people on there are just stealing logos from other people. There's two designers that I follow on social media, Jeff Fisher from Logomotion, I think it's Logomotion, or Logomotive, I think, sorry. And Von Glitchka from Glitchka Studios. Both of them are constantly sharing how people are stealing logos that they've done. And these are big time designers, and if you're getting a logo that they've ripped off from one of them, they're gonna come after you. So here's what's gonna happen. You pay somebody $5, or maybe you upgrade to another plan where it's $25 or some ridiculous amount, and then you put that logo. You say, well, I'll risk it. Maybe it's stolen, but I'll risk it. But what happens is you're going to put that on your business cards. You're going to put that on all your ancillary material and your collateral and all that stuff, and then you're going to get a letter or email saying, yeah, this logo you stole from me. And like, I didn't steal anything. I just hired Fiverr. And Fiverr, of course, doesn't take any responsibility for any of this stuff. They just take their dollar cut of everything or whatever. And then you're sitting here with a logo that you can't use. And if you still want to use it, then they're gonna come after you. So it's just not a smart idea. And you can look at like the people's different offerings on Fiverr, and a lot of them have the same logo designs. These are different companies because they're stealing these even the examples that they use, passing them off as their own, because a lot of these people are designers. And when you think about it, in order to even try to make money on Fiverr, you have to, you don't have the time to design that stuff and make any sort of money at all. So that's what people do instead of designing. They're basically stealing stuff. Fiverr is just wrought with scam artists and plagiarists and nefarious people. You can go on there and there's people selling the service that they can remove watermarks from photos. So the only reason to remove watermark from a photo is because you're stealing it. So why pay $25 for a stock photo when you can just get the preview images and pay somebody $5 to remove it? But these are the kind of gigs that are being offered up. There's posts on there that people will, for $5, they will troll somebody for you. So yeah, it's really scammy and creepy, and I just really don't want any part of it, to be honest. As artists, we really need to start respecting the work that we do, and it's something that not a lot of people can do, and that's why they hire people. But we're not valuing ourselves enough. If I wanted to hire a plumber to come out and unclog my drain, there's no site for that. There's no site where I can pay a plumber $5. Because they're not going to have any of that. But as artists, as designers or whatever, or creatives, for some reason, that's not a problem. We're willing to just give our stuff, our work away, and devalue what we do. You have to ask yourself, is the work that you do not equivalent to what a plumber does? And not to disparage plumbers, but A trade school for a plumber may set you back a couple grand, maybe a little more. An art education, I mean, it could be up to $100,000. I mean, it's as much as like a doctor, like medical or law school, and yet people are taking these jobs for $5. It's absolutely insane. Now, I understand that there's a lot of sellers, maybe even the majority of sellers are from other countries where maybe $5 will go a lot longer than it does here in America or in other places. But when you think about it, I mean, if $5 is a lot of money to you and you live in one of these countries, just think what $100 or $500 or, you know, what if you can charge, if you're in one of these other countries and you can market to an American audience or European audience or wherever where the dollar goes further, I mean, just think how much more that would be. It's just ridiculous. And just cut out the middleman, cut out Fiverr, and get paid more than you're worth, and way more than you're worth if you live in another one of these countries. Now, also because one of the issues, if you are from an English-speaking country, and you're looking to hire somebody, there's also sort of that language barrier, and that could be another issue. And because there's a language barrier, that adds more time, so that's bad for the person on the other end because they're having to, you know, go back and forth because there's a lack of communication there. And again, time is money, so it just, you know, to put that cap, that $5 or even $25 or whatever, it's just not worth it. I think a lot of the reasons why people use Fiverr is either sellers or buyers is they don't know any better. They see all the advertising, so they're familiar with it, so they just think, well, that's where you go. Because I get a lot of questions, so where do I go to sell my art? Or you know, people that just don't know how to purchase art. So if you are somebody that's looking to purchase art, go to someplace like Dribbble. Dribbble is a community. It's a sort of social media or social network for creative, for designers. You can look at people's stuff, and you know, you can see really nice stuff there. And you can just there's a place on there. Usually, you can hit somebody else. If you are a designer, Dribbble, there's sort of, it's a little hard to get into, but if you work at it, you can get an invite and everything, and you can, you know, show your work there. That's one way to go. But there's a number of different ways you can market yourself without having to go through things like Fiverr or 99 Designs or other websites like this. And sometimes you just have to be a little clever. Like I mentioned Von Glitchka before, one of the designers that's constantly being ripped off. So one thing that he created was this thing called the 5-minute logo. So if you want a $5 logo, go to him. And he makes no bones about it. I mean, I'll leave a link, and you go on there and he will design a logo he's only gonna take 5 minutes, and that's all he's gonna guarantee. And he pretty much spells out that it's gonna be pretty much garbage, but you kind of get what you get. And if you read his, you know, his website and everything, it's all a parody of these type of sites, but it's legit. You could actually hire him. And I was thinking I might even do that just because to have Von Glitchka, this awesome designer, even though it's his crappiest stuff, to have him design something for $5 would be cool. And then there's another one called Horrible Logos, where a guy basically does a napkin sketch and he calls it his beer money or whatever, and he tallies up all the beer money he's made by doing these garbage logos. And so he's taken this stupid idea. Well, it's not stupid for Fiverr, because like I said, they're making millions, but somebody has taken that, done a parody of it, and they're making their own money off of that. So, I mean, not everyone has the ability to do that or whatever, or market that type of thing. But there's other ways that you can sell your stuff. I mean, start with your friends, your family, whatever your network is. And you know, you can do projects for them if you need to build up a portfolio. The main thing to do is build up a portfolio, build up an audience, and you know, you don't even have, if you have trouble getting clients, you don't even have to have real clients. Just make up a client. For me, it's better to make up a client. Or you can do work, say, pick any existing client. There's nothing wrong with a company that you really like. Just doing something for them, and you can either show it to them or not, or just post it. Sometimes if you do something really cool for a company that other people are familiar with, it doesn't have to be totally legit, because you're just doing it as a presentation. And sometimes people take notice of that, and next thing you know, sometimes these companies even come to you and say, we like what you did, you know, can you do something for us for real? I mean, that's one way to go about it.
The other thing to do, if you are either looking to buy or sell, if you're a designer, you have a service people want, rather than just charging $5 going on Fiverr, you can do a trade out with somebody who has another service in a different area that maybe you're not great at, like programming. Say if you're not a programmer and you need somebody to, say, work on a website for you or something, you could do a little trade out there, and that goes both ways. Another thing you can do is there is a Twitter. On Twitter, you can do a search. So for phrases and things, and you can just search who's typing in, I need a logo, who's typing in, I need design services, and then contact them directly. You know, whether you can post things, like I said, either if you get it into Dribble, or either on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. There's so many different ways that you can kind of just don't deal with Fiverr and go directly and kind of build your own clientele. But if you can build a great portfolio, then it's just showing and networking, getting out there. And it sounds a little harder, but maybe it is. But I would imagine that even on Fiverr, because it's just a race to the bottom on Fiverr. It's all based on your people rate you after you do a design or whatever. So I would think even if you're starting on Fiverr, if you're one of these, there are probably people that are making money on Fiverr. But I imagine the amount of time that they put into building that reputation or whatever on Fiverr, if you would have done that on your own stuff, you'd be earning a lot more money, and I think you wouldn't be dragging all these other designers down. And I'm basically doing this video for you guys. I'm letting you guys, because your future you is who you're harming by doing this stuff. I'm already in a position where I don't even really take on freelance projects anymore, and I've done enough of this stuff that I can charge a premium. So Fiverr doesn't matter to me. But it matters to me because I hate seeing people devalue their work, and I hate people not charging what they're what design is worth, and what the amount of time you took to build up this skill that you have. Whether some people call it talent or whatever, but it is a lot of skill. It's something that is learned, something that you have to put a lot of time into, and to just give it away for practically nothing, it's insane to me. So that's kind of my Fiverr rant. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but those are my feelings on it.
Okay, so yeah, those are my thoughts on Fiverr. Really, haven't changed much, but I thought I'd go a little more in depth with this particular video. And before I leave, I just want to say, whether you're a professional or you're aspiring to be a professional or whatever, there's much better ways to go about getting your work out there and making some money off it than sites like 99 Designs and Fiverr. And I'm just, I think it's bad for the industry. I think it's bad for artists starting out. People may think it's a good option, but there's better ways to go about that. So maybe we should go into that a little deeper on another video, just other ways to get your start and everything like that. That's something I'll have to make a mental note of. But anyway, yeah, I would recommend you guys stay away from Fiverr. But like I said in the beginning, if you have maybe you've had a better experience with them, feel free to let me know in the comments section. I don't think you're going to convince me though, but you can let me know, and maybe we can have hopefully a civil conversation. But things can get heated when you talk about stuff like this. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. That is all.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here in the Art Lab. There's a lot of other great content on the channel, so click that subscribe button and you won't miss a thing. If you're an aspiring evil genius, visit Serkworks.com.